This astronaut has designed a special spaceship to test his theory about interstellar travel. But unbeknownst to him, it is about to take him on the most bizarre adventure of his life. An astronaut named John Crichton is observing his shuttle on the morning of a very important mission. Afterward, as he prepares for the launch, he and his best friend DK discuss the importance of this mission, because it will test their own original theory about whether or not the Earth's gravity can be used to propel a spacecraft of their own design to high enough speeds for achieving interstellar travel. John tells DK that he's been getting a bad feeling about this mission, but DK comforts him and tells him that he's just nervous because this isn't some random mission. It's a mission to test his own theory. John's father, who is also a retired astronaut, arrives and tells his son to relax. He says that it's a simple mission where he'll sling around the Earth and then return to ground. It's not like he's going to the moon. Classic back-in-our-day pep talk. John straps into the shuttle and the mission takes off. Once in space, John gets into the spacecraft of his own design and starts accelerating around the planet to test his theory. However, as he is accelerating, DK reports that a strange electromagnetic wave of some kind is forming and advises John to abort. But before John can verify what he is talking about, a strange portal opens and John's spacecraft falls into it, disappearing from Earth's view. John barely makes it out the other side of the portal alive, and when he looks around, he sees that he is surrounded by huge asteroids. Before he even has time to grasp what just happened, he sees other spacecrafts flying around him, and one of them crashes into him before hitting an asteroid and exploding. Suddenly, John notices a giant spaceship nearby which is being attacked by smaller ships from all sides. John loses control of his spacecraft, and it is pulled into the giant ship. Once inside, John is surrounded on all sides by mysterious tiny robots. His spacecraft catches fire, and he is forced to get out. The tiny robots point guns at him and force him to walk toward the control room of the ship. Still confused about where he is and what is going on, John walks into the control room of the ship, and he is shocked to see incredibly strange-looking beings controlling the ship. One of the beings walks toward John, lifts him by the neck, and starts speaking to him, but John doesn't understand what he is saying. A tiny robot injects something into John's feet, and suddenly he starts understanding the aliens. The aliens ask him what technology his spacecraft is made of because they've never seen it before, and they need to know whether it can help them escape from here. Before John can fully comprehend the situation and answer, the alien runs out of patience and throws him away. The conversation between the aliens reveals to John that they are prisoners who have broken out of jail, and the forces attacking them are some kind of interstellar peacekeepers. However, they cannot escape because they have not unlocked the full functions of the ship they have hijacked. After some bickering, one of the aliens manages to hack the ship, and they activate something called a starburst to escape. After they escape, the leader of the peacekeepers, Captain Crichton, learns that two of their spacecrafts, called Prowlers, were destroyed during the assault. One Prowler got sucked in with the starburst, and the other crashed into a mysterious craft which appeared out of nowhere. He learns that the one that crashed into John's spacecraft was being piloted by his brother. Enraged, he demands to know who was inside John's ship. Meanwhile, John demands to know what is going on, but before he can even begin his outrage, the aliens knock him out. Next, the two aliens named Pa'u and Ka Dargo discuss why they were in prison, and it is revealed that Pa'u is a priestess who was something of an anarchist on her planet, while Ka Dargo was a soldier who refused to follow his superior's orders. The two discuss that this ship has no way to determine its location in space, but decide that they will work together to figure this out. John wakes up and prays that all he saw would be a bad dream, but as he looks around and sees one of the aliens, he is disappointed. Suddenly he realizes he is naked and inside a cell, and the alien named Rigel explains that his clothes were removed to examine him. John feels very violated. Rigel reveals that he was the monarch of a very wealthy planet, but his brother overthrew him and put him in prison. John requests Rigel to remove him from this cell because he is not here to harm them, but Rigel says that both John and the commando they have collected from the Prowler that got sucked into the starburst cannot be trusted. John looks around and sees the commando. The commando removes the helmet and is revealed to be a woman named Erin. John understands why the aliens don't trust him. The peacekeepers are humans just like him. Thinking he's a peacekeeper, Erin demands to know John's rank and company, and John reveals that he is a commander, but not in any company that she would know of. Next, Pa'u and Ka Dargo arrive, and John pleads them to set him free since he is not a peacekeeper. Pa'u says that she knows he is not a peacekeeper because he has some very different bacteria inside his body. However, they can't release him because they still do not know where his loyalty lies. Meanwhile, Captain Crace's technicians figure out that it was John who killed his brother, and he vows to get his revenge. As John and the aliens walk around the ship, he is shocked at how advanced their technology is. He asks what their ship is made out of, and Pa'u explains that this ship is called the Leviathan, and it is a biomechanoid vessel, which means it's a living being. At dinner, Pa'u, Ka Dargo, and Rigel struggle to get on the same page about what their next move needs to be, and they learn that they are approaching a commerce planet. They decide to go down to get supplies for their journey and fuel for the Leviathan. Before they land, they ask Erin whether they will encounter peacekeeper forces here, but she does not cooperate with them. She tries to sneak a fork back to the cell to pick the lock, but gets caught. Meanwhile, John is disgusted by the strange alien food. Suddenly, his voice starts becoming very high-pitched, and it is revealed that it's because Rigel's species farts helium. While the aliens go down to the planet, John reveals to Erin that he sneaked in a fork, and she picks the lock of the cell. She decides to sabotage the Leviathan before leaving, but John tries to convince her to show some compassion to the prisoners. She claims that such lowlifes don't deserve compassion. The two take Erin's prowler and head down to the planet, while Erin informs Captain Crace of their position. Learning of their escaped prisoners, Pa'u and the others realize they have to leave, but Ka Dargo says that they need Erin and John as prisoners for insurance. He attacks the two in the street, but just then, Captain Crace arrives with his forces. He takes Ka Dargo as prisoner and sentences John to be dissected and studied for killing his brother. Erin vouches for John, but driven by vengeance, Crace simply claims that Erin has spent too much time with the alien and has been irreversibly contaminated, so she must be imprisoned as well. As the three prisoners are searched, John manages to distract a guard and steal his gun. It takes him a minute to learn how to use it, but once he does, he holds the guards hostage and takes their keys. He offers to free Ka Dargo, but only if he takes John and Erin with him. Both Dargo and Erin object to this idea, having a strong dislike for each other, but John tells Dargo he has the keys and reminds Erin that she is no longer a member of the Peacekeepers. She argues that this is all she knows how to be, but John tells her that she can be more, which seems to resonate with her. The three escape in a prowler. They arrive back in the Leviathan, but learn that they have been followed by a Peacekeeper vessel. The Leviathan is not fast enough to escape the cannons of the Peacekeeper vessel, but John teaches them how to use a planet's gravity to slingshot out at incredible speeds, and they manage to escape. Pa'u gives John a weird alien kiss as thanks. Man's got intergalactic riz. Afterward, Dargo corners John and warns him to never do anything to endanger his freedom again. Erin explains that Dargo's species is quite a violent one, and John points out that her peacekeepers aren't very polite or just either. She reminds him to choose his allegiances very carefully. John sits down to fix the burnt equipment of his spacecraft and records a message for his father, which he knows will probably never reach him. Next, a loud signal starts playing inside the ship, which makes John's face twitch uncontrollably. Erin explains that it is a beacon installed inside all Leviathans because they are used for prisoner transport, and the beacon is activated when a ship goes missing, so that it may be found by Peacekeeper forces. John asks if the beacon can be removed, and the ship's pilot says that it will take time, and by then, the Peacekeepers will follow the beacon and find them. John comes up with an idea. He asks if a nearby planet has water, and when it is confirmed, he says that they can use the water to muffle the signal until they remove the beacon. The others are hesitant to implement this plan because Leviathans are massive ships, not meant to land on planets, but they concede because it is the best plan they have. The landing is rough, but they manage to ground the ship and submerge it in some mud. Next, the pilot says that the beacon is installed in the ship's neural nexus, which is a highly sensitive area, and since this ship is a living being, it will feel a lot of pain if they remove it, enough to kill it. Pa'u asks if there is any anesthetic they can give to the ship, and the pilot says that there is a common element called chlorium, which numbs the Leviathan, but they'll have to step out on the planet to find it. Erin is against this plan, as she low-key still wants the peacekeepers to catch these criminals. But John reminds her that this is her chance to be better, to be more. The two bond, and she agrees to go with him. Dargo, Erin, and John head out to find the chlorium. John sees the planet, and it reminds him of Earth. The three search for a while, but they end up running into the locals of the planet, who turn out to be hostile. Dargo and Erin draw the locals away, and task John with finding the chlorium. John goes around with the chlorium scanner and ends up running into what appears to be a very high-tech barn with radio telescopes outside. He enters the barn and surprisingly finds fertilizer and technology which seems human-made. Just then, he hears someone coming and hurriedly hides. An alien boy named Fostro enters the barn and runs away after seeing John. John follows him into the house and he shoots John with a strange weapon that seems to temporarily paralyze him. Fostro's mother, Lysaea, arrives and is shocked at seeing an alien in her kitchen. She plans to call the authorities, but John cleverly tells her that his kind could have contacted the government if they wanted to, but they chose her. Back at the ship, the pilot tells Pa'u that he's discovered even with the chlorium, they might not be able to numb the ship long enough to remove the beacon. Pa'u talks to Rigel, who is the only one small enough to fit in the chamber that houses the beacon. She says he must begin removing the beacon. He inquires what she intends to do about the pain that the ship will feel, and she says that she is a high priestess who knows a way to share the pain of other living beings. She will reduce the ship's pain. He warns her that it is a big ship, hence it will be a lot of pain that she will be taking on. Meanwhile, Erin and Dargo are hiding in a tree, waiting for John, but Erin decides that she is going back to the ship, because John is clearly lost. Back at the barn, Lysaea reveals that she has dreamed of contacting aliens ever since she was a little girl, working for it all her life, hence the radio telescopes outside her house, which is why this is a surreal moment for her. John, who is secretly from a species similar to her, expresses her feelings in just the right words, and she begins trusting him. She cooks him some food, and John's chlorium tracker starts buzzing. He learns that it is a food ingredient. Just then, the military of the planet arrives, and Lysaea tells John to hide. Back at the ship, Pa'u tries to take the pain of the ship during the procedure, but the pain is too much, and she collapses while the ship starts dying. After some time, Pa'u reawakens and tells Rigel to continue the procedure. Erin arrives, and she is amazed at how Pa'u is withstanding so much pain. Pa'u appreciates that she is concerned for her. Back at the barn, John realizes that he is surrounded by the military and will not escape. He asks Lysaea to help him establish radio contact with his ship so that he can at least tell them about the chlorium he's found here. Just then, it is revealed that the military has caught Dargo, and seeing that he is violent and not like John, Lysaea becomes concerned. John reveals to her that not everyone on his ship is a scientist like him. Some are escaped prisoners. Lysaea gives him a bag full of chlorium and tells him to leave, but John says that he has to rescue his friend. Lysaea plays John's radio communication with the pilot for the military general and gives him the wrong coordinates for where the alien ship has landed. While he and his men are off in the wrong direction, John rescues Dargo. He kisses Lysaea goodbye and tells her to keep looking up at the skies. Back at the ship, Erin is holding Pa'u up while Rigel completes the procedure. He finally cuts the beacon out, and John arrives just in time with the chlorium to numb the ship's pain. As they lift off and fly away, Lysaea and Fostro watch them from a distance. John looks at the planet and realizes how much it was like home. Erin can't believe that John will miss this primitive rock, but he tells her that it's not this rock he is missing. She understands. Farscape is an Australian-American science fiction TV series that first began in 1999 and ran for 4 seasons till 2003. The series very quickly developed a strong cult following that severely protested its cancellation in 2003 due to financial troubles in its network company. There were massive campaigns demanding that the series be revived or transferred to a different network. However, the only thing they achieved was the creation of a two-part miniseries released in 2004, which provided an ending to the plot which was left hanging in Season 4. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, let us know what movie you would love us to recap for you.